What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm going to try this again. Came on earlier to give an update. Took that video down. We obviously know what's been going on signing day with all the drama and the Chris Henry recruitment, with him committing and then deciding he's not committing and coming out. Brian Hartline leaving, Legend Bay leaving the class, Jaquaden Guilford still undecided. So got things reeled in a little bit, got some announcements to make, some updates to give you guys on that. So obviously Brian Hartline out of the building. Before we dive into that, hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button as well. Super chats are up and running as well. If you guys feel like asking a question, make it a statement, get it put in there. But first, on the Brian Hartline situation, you're hearing a couple different things here. Buckeye fans feeling some type of way with the timing of this thing. Hey, did this need to be announced today? What's the effects of this? We obviously see the effects of him announcing this today. So you got some Buckeye fans a little upset with that, saying, hey, this is the worst, timing that you could have done to us, Brian Hartline. Why would you do this to us? Is Ryan Day happy about the timing of this? When you look into this, I mean, it's a tough situation to be in, because when you look at Brian Hartline and the decision to announce this the morning of signing day, it's very aggravating, and it makes you think like, hey, why would you do this? But the other side of that coin is where would you want him to do? Wait a week? If he waits a week, then that hurts his reputation as a recruiter. So in a sense, it's Brian Hartline looking out for himself, but then why Ohio State picks up the pieces. But then the other sense of that as well, hey, Ohio State never wants to lure a kid into committing if they know their position coach is leaving. Okay, so it's a weird situation to be in. Am I upset about it? Yeah, I think I feel like maybe some different timing could have been worked out there. But then, you also think of it as well. Hey, I'd rather Ohio State, play the high road here, be honest with the recruits, because of that culture and that brotherhood that Ohio State has built here with Ryan Day. But I go back and forth, man. I keep wanting to think, if you're one of those ones that thinks this was a crappy move by Brian Hartline for announcing the day of signing day, then you also have to accept the fact that, hey, if he didn't, then Ohio State would have been essentially lying to recruits to get them to sign in the class. If you're one that says, hey, I mean, this is the truth. It just is what it is in today's college football world. When timing arises like this, the Buckeyes can't control this timing. Brian Hartline couldn't really either. There was a position open, and he took it. And this thing all happened really fast. I think USF thought they had their coach lined up, and then I believe the Kansas State situation changed that, and they had to switch tactics real fast, go after Brian Hartline. Ryan Day stated that he reached out to recruits as well, and Brian Hartline did as well. And I'm going with that. I don't think anybody was blindsided by that. This begs the question now, where does Ohio State go from here? Okay, we know the recent news with Chip Kelly being fired. We know what he did last year, took us to a national title. Ryan Day's best friend. I mean, you would be hard-pressed to convince me that Chip Kelly is not about to join this Buckeye staff as offensive coordinator. I don't know how you guys are going to feel about that. I would absolutely love that. Come into the program with players that he already knows, a system that he helped put in place that he already knows. So we'll see there. As far as the wide receiver coach, you ask, hey, man, are we going to elevate Coach Jordan in that room? You're going to go out and look for somebody else. You're going to elevate a different coach on staff to the wide receiver position. I think Coach Day is going to go outside for this decision here, because, I mean, it's the most sought after job opening in the country, Ohio State's wide receiver coach. we've been putting out good wide receivers for a long time. Brian Hartline did attribute to that, but so did the 5-star quarterbacks that Coach Day, gets into the program, the style of offense that the Buckeyes run. So there's several reasons here that the Buckeyes are going to be just fine. Now, what is a result of Brian Hartline leaving? Well, the result of that, how do we know this all happened so quickly? Because there's some recruits that were thrown off by this. Chris Henry Jr., Jaquaden Guilford, 2 of them, they have not signed with Ohio State. Chris Henry Jr. has publicly came out, and he has said this right here. I'll get this pulled up. This is Chris. I have not yet signed, still trying to weigh my options due to coaching changes. I just want to make sure this is the right decision for my future. Now, what do we know? We know that when Chris Henry Jr. woke up this morning, he had every intention of signing with Ohio State. Why? Because that's what they announced at his Mater Dei signing day. That's what they announced. So they announced, hey, signing with Ohio State. That's why everybody put those graphics out. So I did that show earlier. Everybody was telling me, hey, he just committed to the Buckeyes. He's a Buckeye. And then all this stuff comes out, and you see the vultures come running in. Oregon, USC, being reported that they were all in that. Those 2 teams, USC and Oregon. Then the update got brought in that it's really Oregon right now. That is pressing for him. Oregon, the same team. And Chris Henry Jr. obviously stated this is because of a coaching change. But when you find out that the other team that is after him just lost their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, and their director of recruiting. Yes, Oregon lost Will Stein to Kentucky. They're losing Tosh Lapoy to California. And Kentucky just hired Pat Biondo, their director of recruiting, for a Kentucky GM position. So you look at it like that, it's like, okay, Ohio State just lost wide receiver coach, offensive coordinator, and the other team that we're going up against right now has also lost all these other coaches. We all know what the deal is. Oregon has come in with an absurd offer financially. And that's what it's turning into. It's turning into a bidding war. Ohio State still trying to hold this in, but everything I'm reading, everybody I'm talking to, the momentum is not going in our direction at this point in time. When a recruit's mind starts going down this money trail, Ohio State's not going to play that game as much as an Oregon or a USC will. We already know that, and I'm fine with that. These things always seem to work themselves out every single time. They work themselves out. We're in the Big Ten title game. We're playing for another national title this year. We're going to do the same thing next year. We're going to do the same thing after that, the next thing after that, and the next thing after that. You see these desperate programs, and when you throw large amounts of money in, it starts messing with people's heads. So get used to it, guys. This is not the first time. This will not be the last time that this occurs to Ohio State on National Signing Day. They choose to be different than most other teams in the country. And as a result of that, they look different when they're on the field. They act different when they're on the field. They act different outside of football. These kids, educationally, are different. They're number one. No shenanigans going on. You see the product that's put on the field this year. Ohio State has had recruits flip from them since this nil thing started that us Buckeye fans have flipped out over so many times. We lost Caden Dixon-Wyatt today. That sucks. We know why we lost him. That's why we lose all these recruits that we lose. The Caden Dixon-Wyatt thing is irrelevant from the Brian Hartline situation. That was occurring before this ever happened. But Chris Henry Jr., he is saying, is a direct result of coaching changes, but his other front runner is a school that has lost more coaches than the Buckeyes have just lost. So we'll see what happens there. either way, we're Ohio State. We're going to be fine. The only wide receivers we have in the class right now are Brock Boyd and Jaden Ricketts. Love both those players. They are not your Brock Boyd, I believe, can come in and make an impact on this team. But you would really like to sign a Chris Henry Jr. And the other one that is now up in the air as well is this gentleman. Maybe you guys can help me decipher this tweet that he put out, because I can't quite decipher it. Jaquaden Guilford came out. This is the tweet that he made. He said, "Never forget loyalty. Congratulations, coach," to the Brian Hartline going there. His trainer did an interview with, I think, one of the recruiting sites and said that LSU is pushing really, really strong right now. And teams are coming in with some really hot offers. So a lot to digest here. This Brian Hartline situation, super aggravating to me. Makes you, the timing of the whole thing is just like, what's going on here? But ultimately, Buckeye fans, we've been down this road before. We have lost recruits before. There's a reason we lose these recruits, okay? Right now, it's just kind of that perfect storm. It gives an avenue for people to say different things when we all really know what's going on here. But losing Brian Hartline was inevitable. It happened, and as a result of that, there'll be consequences of that. We are going to lose some recruits. We are going to lose some people because of that, but you got to trust in Coach Day. I mean, the Jim Knowles situation, lost Chip Kelly, and yet he has this team 12-0, playing in the Big Ten title game and all that. And last year, how many recruits did we lose that we were freaking out about? They all seem to work themselves out, and this one will be worked out as well. More recruiting news, Legend Bay. This one is interesting, guys, because this dude was all Buckeyes. I'm talking about this morning at his school for signing day, had a whole table, Buckeye gear, decked out in Buckeye gear, ready to sign. I was told he signed his LOI and sent it in, letter of intent to be a Buckeye, but because he's not over 18, he had to have his parents' signature on it as well. Well, it's being reported that the mom refused to sign it. The Buckeyes knew that the mom would kind of be a hurdle they would have to overcome. They felt like they overcame it, and all of a sudden, they didn't. He announces, "Hey, I'm going to make my decision December 5th," and then 30 minutes later, the dude commits to Tennessee. So you can read the tea leaves yourself there, but it's getting crazy, man. Recruiting is getting wild. It's getting crazy. And it just goes to show you how lucky we are as Buckeyes that we recruit the kind of people that we recruit that ultimately end up signing in this class. Because can you imagine if you have parents that want to be controlling and all this stuff, like at a team like this, the drama that would occur here? The Buckeyes tend to avoid those situations. I think there's some blessings in disguise in this situation, the Legend Bay situation. If what is being reported is true with his mom, that's wild. On other news, the Buckeye parents we have, guys, we are blessed, because when Chris Henry Jr. puts that out, shout out Juliet Pettijohn, Riley Pettijohn's mom. She comes back in with this, and this is the culture. This is the mentality of the players that we currently have on this roster. She said, "I remember feeling uneasy and worried for Riley when Coach Knowles left after last year's championship. Yet here we are, bigger and better. I have full confidence in whoever replaces Coach Hartline." That is the mentality we need to gather, Buckeye Nation, because that's just the truth. That's the truth of this situation. We're in the middle of about to play Indiana, the number 2 team in the nation. And I feel the same emotions you guys do from the timing of Hartline leaving to Chris Henry doing what he's doing to Jaquaden Guilford doing what he's doing. But the Block O in Ohio State is way bigger than any coach or any player. So that's just the truth. It's been proven over and over again. That's not an opinion. That's not scarlet glasses. That's not anything. That's just a fact. Ryan Day will get this thing figured out. If we don't sign Chris Henry Jr. or Jaquaden Guilford, I don't know what they'll do. The portal, the 27 signing class, whatever they do, they will work. It will work itself out. I could go on and on and on with examples. This year, the defensive line. Look at Tywone Malone. Like when you build a program like Ryan Day has, things always tend to work themselves out because he does it the right way. He does it the correct way. You see all these other teams around the nation building all these number one recruiting classes, doing everything else they're doing, yet they can't put it on the field. They can't seem to get that ultimate goal of a national title and success around their thing. And I mean, Oregon, for example, all these, I mean, they just buy recruits. That's what they do. It's not a secret. That's not scarlet glasses. That's not coming from hate from them. They are very annoying with how they approach this recruiting game, but that's the only thing they can do. How do I know that? In the last century, Ohio State has put 17 wide receivers in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. Oregon has put 0. In the last century, Ohio State has put 9 wide receivers in the first round. Oregon has put 0. 0. So, do they have a good football program? Yes, they do, but they do not have that long history of development, putting kids into the NFL who have long-lasting, successful careers in the NFL. When compared to Ohio State, they're not comparable. It's not comparable. This is a newly found success for them. This newly found success is coming from buying recruits. Now, that's the only thing they got. So, I mean, you can't really hate on them. That's the only weapon and tool that they have to outgain or outdo programs like Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama. That's it. That's the only plus that they have compared to these other programs. That's not some guess. That's not. This is just the new era of college football. It's just what it is, man. When money is thrown into equations, things can change, but we'll see. I am hoping if the Buckeyes can land one of Chris Henry Jr. or Jaquaden Guilford, I will be thrilled. I'll be thrilled. I'll be perfectly fine with it. As of right now, we sit with the number 7 class in the nation, but that is including Chris Henry Jr. and Jaquaden Guilford. If we lose both of those recruits, I believe we will go down to below a top 10 recruiting class in the nation. And when you look at this, when you hear that, makes you want to freak out, makes you say it's unacceptable. We just won a national title, but we've been through worse before as Buckeye fans, and we seem to always come out of the other end bigger, better, stronger. It's what we do. It's the lifeblood of this program. The Block O is bigger than any one coach, any players, anything like that. This is college football. It will work itself out, but we'll wait and see. Got some drama coming down the line. I mean, every other recruit were good. So we lost Legend Bay. We lost Caden Dixon Wyatt. Those are 2 so far that we lost. The Legend Bay thing was insane. The Caden Dixon Wyatt thing, we know what happened there. And we know what's going on with Chris Henry and Jaquaden Guilford. It's very annoying. It's very heartbreaking at times, but I'm not in their situations. I don't know their family situation or what they got going on, but it's just what it is. Some teams are coming in with crazy, stupid, dumb money. Don't even know if they can really offer that kind of money if they have it. But Ohio State's they're just not going to play those games. Like, we've been down this road 100 times. But the positive to that is you get a certain type of individual. You get a certain type of individual that's driven by the love of their brother, the love of the game. And ultimately, that drive is way stronger than a love of a bigger bag, right? Because if you're drawn to a program strictly because of money, then what happens the next year when another team offers you an even bigger bag? How many players do we see that don't come here and we know why they signed there, and then you watch them transfer back and forth all day long, and then you watch their careers fizzle out? It's just what happens, guys. It's just, that's a fact in life. That's not a guess either. The love of money is temporary, won't get you very far in life. You make you feel good for a little moment, but it just doesn't. I mean, and that's a conversation for a deeper time. But again, we'll see. I don't know every recruit situation. I don't know everything, but yes, when your wide receiver coach leaves, I'm not sure how mad we can be at these wide receivers for, delaying their decision making. So it's hard to keep your emotion as a Buckeye fan separated from, well, Chris Henry, you should still sign with the Buckeyes. Yeah, I think you should. But when you lose your position coach, it's like, dude, yeah, I mean, the kid has a right to delay his decision and sit back and make sure he's making the right decision. But then you throw in, the other school he's possibly going to sign with has lost 3 coaches as well. That's just the fact. Sometimes I wish a lot of people just face that reality that, yeah, recruits are going to go sometimes where the biggest bag is. But Ohio State has said over and over and over again, we do not want kids to come to Ohio State just because money, just because we got their biggest bag. Us Ohio State fans, we're so stoked about the culture and about the brotherhood and about the no shenanigans off the field, how focused this team is. Don't you guys love that? Don't you love seeing how close this team is, how close they play on the field? Why do you think this defense is so good? Because they play for each other. That's why they are so good. Why is this offense so good? Because they play for each other. You can't have it both ways. You can't go buy recruits and then have this type of culture and brotherhood. It won't happen. It doesn't work. You can't have it. You can't have the best of every single world. I would rather have this world, but as a result of having the world that we have now, we got to go through some rough times. Those rough times for us is on signing day. Would you rather have rough times on signing day, or would you rather have rough times during the season sitting back while every other team is in the playoffs and you're Michigan watching us just dominate? Michigan goes out, spends $13 million on players, buys wide receivers, buys offensive tackles. They're not in the playoffs. Where are they? The Buckeyes get beat the past 3 or 4 years every day on signing day. They lose recruits to the bigger bag. They lose recruits at the last moment at teams coming in and scalping from us. Yet, Oregon did that to us. What happened to them in the Rose Bowl last year? They were sitting at home watching us win a national title. Where's Oregon this year? They're sitting at home while we're winning a Big Ten title. If we see them in the playoffs, they're going to be sitting at home while these Buckeyes are going to win a national title. So I choose this every single time. This is what I choose. Jeremiah Smith chose the Buckeyes. We did not have the highest offer out there at all. Didn't have it out there. Chose here because they wanted to be developed. They love the brotherhood. They love the culture. They love the Block O, the history of Ohio State. That's what drives them. That's what keeps this culture and this brotherhood close. And, in team games, man, that's what it's about. This is a team sport. And if you love your brother that's playing beside you, you're just going to have that extra connection there. So everything's going to be all right. This class is fire, guys. Very good class. We'll see how it ends on the wide receiver note. But when you lose the best wide receiver coach in the country the day of signing day, it makes me want to say a lot of different things about Brian Hartline right here. I'm going to be honest with you, it does. I don't have the inside scoop on exactly how it happened, but very aggravating, very frustrating. It feels like he kind of just shoved Ohio State under the rug, flipped you the double bird, and did all that. But I don't know all the details of the situation. Brian Hartline has been an amazing coach for us. He's been an absolute stud. He was a stud playing here, stud in the NFL, stud recruiter, stud coach. I always love Brian Hartline. Wish him the best. I hope he has a lot of success where he's going. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. Tonight on my Buckeye Boys channel, I will be breaking down Ohio State and Indiana position groups with Dalton Wasserman from PFF. So you are now watching me on my channel and the Scoop channel tonight at 8:10 over there on the Buckeye Boys channel. Me and Dalton are going to be doing a deep dive. So if you want to take a break from all this drama, all this signing day drama, shift your focus over to what this team's about to go up against, this Indiana team. Tune in tonight at 8:10 with me and Dalton. We're going to be going over each position group at the Buckeye Boys channel with a Z. Do me a favor, guys, on your way out. Actually, hold on. Dang. Mike Green, thanks for the $1.99. So no cap on the money. USC ain't bending the rules. 100%. Yes, they are, for sure. All that's gone out the window. All these caps and rules that were put in place, there's still no CSI. There's still no ruling governing over this. So teams are going buck wild right now. Why do you think Oregon's coming in with the offers they are with Chris Henry Jr.? They're not approved nil deals. I promise you that. So yes, all this is out the window of this. All these rules that the whatever tried to put in place, they still haven't even came to an agreement on who's going to all these rules and all this stuff. It's all a joke. So it's kind of crazy right now. But yes, National Signing Day, we've got some shenanigans going on. And honestly, the NCAA is irrelevant, so teams don't really care. They'll go out, they get a 5-star receiver. If that means that they get a fine, they'll pay it, right? They're offering $3 million a year to a receiver. They'll pay a $100,000 fine for breaking a nil rule, even if they get it. Or they won't pay it and tell them to kick rocks. Who knows? But appreciate you guys. Tune in tonight. Me and Dalton Wasserman going to break down Indiana and Ohio State. Hit that like button on your way out. Hit the subscribe button as well. And if I get some more updates, I will be back on waiting for Chris Henry Jr. and Jaquaden Guilford to make a decision on where they're going to be playing. Not feeling too hot about Chris Henry right now. Jaquaden still holding a little bit of hope back there, but we will see. Buckeye fans, we're going to be all right. God bless y'all. Go Buckeyes. OH.